Hello everyone, today I'm here to review the Samsung NP700G7C, which is a gaming laptop that Samsung made and it came out last year. It drew quite a bit of attention because it was Samsung's first technical gaming laptop, and I found it pretty interesting and I ended up buying it recently. So, as you guys know, this laptop is huge. It's 17.3 inch, but including the size of the bezel and stuff, it's almost 18 inch, I should say. And this thing is really heavy. I would say it's at least 7 pounds and maybe 8 pounds, I don't know, including like the battery charger and all that stuff. So it's not something, you know, ultra portable like Ultrabook that you can carry to a bunch of places, but obviously that's not what it was meant for. I should say this is something that could replace the desktop. If you want a desktop that you can take it to places, this is the perfect laptop for you, because I tell you what, this is a lot easier than carrying desktop to places. So performance is, you know, you can find those specs online. Everything is basically the same. It's got the Ivy Bridge Intel i7 quad core and GTX 675M, which is a dedicated graphics card. And what I found interesting on this laptop is that the first thing is the turbo mode. It has a turbo switch over here. It's got 4 knobs here, which has got the battery saving mode, library mode, and balanced mode, and the turbo mode, which turns on that light. So battery mode is basically, you know, it declocks the CPU, disables the GPU, and kills the backlight to save the power, most power. And the library mode is something for people, you know, those who go to the library to study. It basically kills the fan, because when you go to the library and your fan is, you know, vibrating, rattling, like making those high-pitched noise, it really bugs everyone because it's so quiet there. And if you put it into library mode, it really basically kills those 2 fans back there, and it doesn't run unless it really has to. And the balanced mode is what most people would stay on most of the time. It turns on the white backlight and it actually activates the GPU, and you can play games and everything. And the gaming mode, which changes the backlight to blue and these lights to blue, and then actually the turbo light comes on, doesn't really do anything except just, you know, it's on. And it actually puts a CPU to turbo boost mode, and then it also activates the GTX 675M. And I believe it actually controls fan better, I think. And what I found interesting is that the WASD, which is what most gamers use, are red, and it's for users' convenience. At nighttime, this thing really looks awesome. The blue light here, as you notice, does not go away. So this blue light for mouse trackpad only goes off when the trackpad is disabled, like that. And then now the trackpad is disabled. And if you turn it back on, it comes back on. The 3 multimedia buttons over here, this for the backlight, and then you could adjust the brightness on the backlight to all the way off and to the brightest. And this is to disable the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. This is to mute the laptop, and it has a little convenient volume switch over here. Sweet. The power switch, which I have a lot of complaint for, and I heard a lot of complaints on the forum that this power button sometimes gets stuck, and what it does is it's constantly killing the laptop. You know, even though you're not pressing on it, it gets sticky and stuff, and then it just turns off automatically itself, and that can get really annoying when you're playing a game. So that's something. And the build quality is, I would say, by the way, this is a charging cable for my video camera. The build quality, I should say, is pretty nice. It's made out with really high quality plastic. They're coated over here, and this light is actually, the Samsung is actually illuminated. However, this plastic is weak. If you drop it, or if you if you drop it, or if you try to pry it open and stuff like that, it will easily damage the plastic. Another thing that I really found annoying is this freaking 200 watts charger. Yes, it is 19 volts time 10.5 amp, which close to 200 watts, and it's a lot, and it really is a big charger, and it is heavy, and I have so many complaints for it. And on one big major turnoff is that this laptop does not, there's no way you can activate the GPU without this thing plugged in, which means if I plug this off, even though I'm in the gaming mode and the laptop, whoa, we're going into gaming mode, but it is actually not going to the gaming mode, and the GPU will only be available if it's charging, which I found really annoying, and I'll show you later on. However, one thing I found really cool is that it has Blu-ray. Never mind. One thing I found really cool is that a week ago I completely disassembled the whole laptop to see inside, and it's got, a bunch of stuff inside, huge motherboard and huge fan over here, 2 of them. However, the GPU is external GPU. It's actually graphics card. It's not like a chip where it's like soldered into the motherboard. This one is actually replaceable GPU, which means if you go onto eBay and buy, let's say, GTX 760M, you can just put it in there and then install driver, and you'll now have GTX 760M, blah blah blah. I found that was really cool. And another thing amazing is that the GTX 675 has the old Fermi architecture, and it was kind of like a really old, architecture on a steroid. It had a lot of cores, it had a lot of power going to it, and it was really highly clocked and stuff. Due to that, the TDP, recommended TDP of this laptop, of this GTX 675 is 100 watts. That means half of this power is going to the GPU, and you might say that's shitty. Wow, that is shitty. The 675M, to be honest, not that great of a GPU, and it sucks like 100 watts, really. However, if you think about it, if you're gonna upgrade it, like I'm going to upgrade it, you can actually put something that is equivalent. You can put something that uses 100 watts TDP. For an example, the new GTX 870M, which is basically top of the line laptop GPU, it's even better than most of the desktop GPU, uses 100 watts, which means if you put that in there, you will be able to pull the full juice out of that 870M. If this GPU was only capable of, let's say, 60 watts, you can only put something somewhere around that TDP, otherwise it's going to bottleneck and it's not going to run correctly. However, this thing has 100 watts TDP GPU, which means you can put basically any GPU that you want on this thing and you can upgrade, and same as the CPU. So I found that was really interesting and fantastic. This laptop actually has a subwoofer, a little subwoofer at the back, which has a small hole like this, but the actual subwoofer actually is pretty big, and it actually has surprisingly rich sound. And don't get me wrong, it's nothing compared to those desktop speakers, but for a laptop, this is pretty damn good. And here I'm gonna run a Crysis 3, it's on a, everything is on a low, and it is on 1080p, and texture is medium, and basically all the advanced graphic is pretty much low. Oh, by the way, if you put it on a turbo mode, this thing lights up every time there's a volume, which I found was really cool. Let's go ahead and start this game. Resume game. It does have 2 hard drives. Comes with 2 750GB hard drive, which goes up to 1.5 terabytes. I mean, it adds up to. But what I found weird is that, you know, why didn't they just put just one 1.5 terabyte hard drive and leave the other one open for like SSD or something like that? So I am on, like I said, kind of like a mid-low setting, 1080p, and I am getting 60 FPS. Wow, this is really smooth. I mean, this video camera is only capable of 30 FPS, but I tell you what, this is dead smooth. However, this is where the annoying part kicks in. If I plug it off, whoa, it deems off first, and then now all of a sudden it's super laggy. Whoa, look at that, it is super laggy, and I don't even know what this is running on, and it's basically unplayable. Like I cannot even play League of Legends. That's how bad it gets. And I'll show you how fast this thing reacts to it. So if you put it onto battery saving mode, immediately goes out of control. But I am just moving my mouse, and then I'm gonna put it onto gaming mode. Look at that. I found that was really, really cool. And then the speaker is great, and the backlight comes so handy at nighttime. I would say this is really something that can replace desktop, and you know, it has even like a capability of upgrading, and all of these stuff, you know, you can find it online, and the spec, and you know, it's got Bluetooth, webcam, blah blah blah. I didn't really go over those because you can find those information online, but I've been using this for about, you know, several months, and I'm just giving you general things that I found that was interesting or that is a complaint to me, just to make sure you guys are purchasing the right laptop. However, I am very, very impressed with this, you know, laptop, because even though this is such a big company, they don't have any experience with gaming laptop. And I tell you what, they only have like 3 years experience of selling laptops in United States. Obviously they've been making laptop for a while, but it's really great for them to respond to what consumer wants, and they did a really good job on this laptop. Like, I didn't find any, you know, like flaws on this laptop that could be found on many other like a first attempt gaming laptops. So that's what I found really was interesting, and I hope you could find one of these. I don't even think they sell these anymore, but if you do have any questions or anything related with this topic, you can just leave me a comment, and I will try to get back to you. Thank you.